Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you have not sat with me before, my name is Shauna, aka Redbird Oracle, and today I will be giving a collective reading about the energies that are fluctuating around us in this time, in this moment, and maybe some advice as to how to move through them. So I have been on a bit of a hiatus. I've been doing a lot more one-on-one work, body work with people, and I'm ready to get back to a more collective scope. It's been really nice being in this interpersonal space and coming together with some very like-minded people. I moved. This is my new home. I live in a sanctuary. So it's very good energy for me to be reading in, and I feel radiant in this space. So hopefully I can exchange that energy with you, and if you're feeling down or tired or anything of that nature, that this reading brings you joy and exuberance, because that's how I'm feeling as of late. So I hope that transmits during this reading. But let's get right into it. The way I like to read is I pull a past, a present, and a future card. So the future is not set in stone, of course, so I don't really like to read too much into what the future card means, but let's get right into it. So the first card we have is Grace for the Grand Gesture. You can see so much radiant heart energy here. And I love when the heart energy comes out green. There's something about it that's so much deeper. And of course the pinks and those really light hues are fun. This feels like a maturing of the heart energy, asking you to go in just a little bit deeper. So I am pulling a card that feels like past. Sometimes this can feel more so as your inner world, as your inner struggle. So if you're struggling with this, we'll call it, what it feels like is really opening up. You know, we can talk the talk and say, I have an open heart, I'm leading from my heart space. But this is anchoring in the maturity of that and the wisdom of that in your day-to-day life. And maybe it's this inner struggle that's coming through. Something that I got as soon as I pulled this card is not Alice in Wonderland, but Follow the Yellow Brick Road, you know, the Emerald City. It's not coming to me with the Wicked Witch. But the Emerald City is sort of coming through in this reading, this really beautiful, vibrant energy, but you sort of have to move through a lot of illusions and struggles in order to get to this really beautiful, wise place. So there might be a little bit of an inner struggle around really opening your heart, and it's not just to the people around you, it's to yourself, and being gentle, kind, and genuine when moving through your own difficulties. So let's get a present card. So this is coming out as your inner world, a past card, however it resonates. I read both ways. So this could be something in your recent past, sort of a internal conflict, internal struggle, or something that is very personal and dear to you, maybe something that you're going through sort of in the quiet of your own home, you're not really sharing with a lot of people right now. So the second card that's coming out, which I pulled earlier, is Spiritual Connection. So we have Grace, this beautiful heart energy, and these are both really vibrant cards. I just love these deeper colors that are coming out. This is a really deep purple. This is a really deep indigo of the crown chakra. It's really intense and it's really gorgeous. So with both of these, with this past situation or this inner conflict, and with this present situation, you're being asked to open up in a new way. And you know, really opening the heart space and leading from that space is difficult enough, but opening your crown chakra, being totally open and trusting to intuition, to the flow, to your own inner knowledge and your own knowing. So both of these cards are anchoring in this new wisdom. So maybe just recently in the past you anchored in your heart space, and this new challenge is coming. It's like, nope, we're still moving through things. We're still becoming more wise. We're still opening up. So let's see what is sort of coming for you. I also like to call this the bridge card. So it can sort of bridge your inner and outer world. This can bridge your past with your present, and it could also indicate things that are coming in your future. So I hope that's not too confusing, but take it however it resonates. Here we have your time to shine. So this is what I'm getting off of this. A really playful, sort of sexy energy. And it doesn't have to be sexual. Sometimes when I'm doing Qigong, that will ignite this energy for me. And it's to me, Qigong is anchoring in that sacral energy in a more mature way. Of course, sexuality in and of itself is a playful, fun energy, but there are other ways to express it that have nothing to do with using sex itself. So I just want to make that really clear. Maybe that's something that someone needs to hear, that you're struggling with. You feel this passion rising up in you. You feel this playfulness. And the interpretation might be, your mind might be hopping in and saying that it's a sex thing. But the energy is asking for something new. Something, again, with all of these cards, it's coming off as more mature. A wiser version of all of these energies that are trying to rise up in you. And this specific fire indicates that, like, seat of the soul. That's that kundalini energy that is being completely in the flow, and with the heart and the crown coming here in this order, bridging that, really igniting and opening up those two centers. You need this playful kundalini energy being in the flow, being in alignment, in order to really activate those, and anchoring in your wisdom and anchoring in your inner knowing so that you don't get overwhelmed by the process. So I'm going to pull some clarification cards with these. What an interesting reading. This is definitely for a soul group that is here for a very specific reason. You know, you're here to anchor in a different expression of Tantra, a different expression of Kundalini, of spirituality, of healing. This is a very peaceful yet deep energy, a very intimate, open connection. And I don't see this very often in my readings, so this is, I could say that, you know, we've come a long way since my last reading. These are definitely new, deeper energies. You're definitely getting a deeper understanding of yourself and your purpose here. So let's start with this heart energy, clarifying this emerald, this beautiful emerald card. Yes, so we have mercy twice. Well, grace and mercy. So first coming out, we have the seeker. This is exactly what I mean about this, you know, the specific soul group that I'm talking to, you know, this group of the seekers. And coming out after that as mercy, again, giving yourself grace and space to go through the trials and tribulations in a genuine, loving way. And then coming out, look at the way this lunar dragon is sort of holding this moon. And the moon can represent illusions, just holding it, plucked it from the sky. You see this beautiful eclipse, and holding it in its hand with this pride, like, oh, I get it now. I understand this. And if we're talking about the world of illusions, if we're talking about, you know, the dream state, it's sort of like in this observation, and you've done the work in the heart space, and maybe that needs to be clarified for some of you. And maybe there are more of you who you're going through something and you don't quite understand what it is, and you're sort of viewing your experience from a really odd perspective. And that is this perspective, you know, sort of holding the illusion very gently in your hand and not rejecting it, just like, huh, interesting. So this is a very mature energy, and I'm getting goosebumps off of these cards. So whoever this is for, whatever you're doing, it is incredible, and I'm excited to clarify the spiritual connection for you. This is very present for you in this moment, and it's surrounded by this beautiful blue, bright blue throat chakra energy. So let's see. Speaking of, so we first have wisdom coming out. So this is a reminder, you know, as these immature or fearful energies are triggered within you, to continue to anchor in this wisdom that you've developed. You know, you found the Emerald City. You're operating from a new place, from a new map, as my personal mentor would call it. And to, as your crown chakra, as your spiritual connection is deepening, to remember to continue to anchor in that wisdom. And then the second card that's coming out is mischief. I love this card. This card has a dual meaning. So the first meaning being the obvious, that illusion, the mischievous, what do they call them in Hawaii? The menahune, that trickster energy, that losing your car keys, or let's say these small frustrations that keep popping up in your life that are sort of testing you, testing your wisdom, and testing, or maybe we won't say testing, just sort of showing you where you're still being knocked off center. That can be that mischievous energy. The second meaning of this card is playfulness. So remembering to be lighthearted and to observe from a playful and curious place, because that is what this life is about. It is about receiving these experiences and not pretending like we know all the time what's going to happen. A plus B doesn't always equal C. Do you see what I mean? I hope so. But this is a very playful and curious sort of approach, while still anchoring in your wisdom, without assuming that you already know the answer. That's not always what wisdom is. There's knowledge, there's facts. Wisdom is something totally different. And for those of you who resonate with this reading, I think you already understand what I mean when I say that. So now we have your destiny card coming up. I'm hearing a really intense message behind this card coming through. You are being directed onto a new path, and that comes with this heart energy that you've just shifted. That comes with this this shedding that has just happened in your life, and deepening the spiritual connection. As you deepen your spiritual connection, the things that are not for you, that no longer resonate with you, will become painful and difficult to hold on to. So if you have things in your life and you're knowing, there's this knowing that it's ending, that it's sort of you know, the credits are rolling, and you're seeing that happening, and maybe there's this part of you that is still trying to hold on to some of that old energy, and you're moving into this really beautiful new energy. This is your destiny. This is your life path. This is that, like, I love this star here. I don't know why it always feels like the stamp of approval. You have your own signature, and the more you clear the conditioning, the more you align with your own personal blueprint and your own personal signature, and the things that are not that fall away very organically. It's our minds and our fears that will sort of crop back up to do the clinging, and just to, you know, remember that genuine, loving, heart-centered energy to keep flowing through that in a gentle, kind way with yourself. Okay, so your time to shine. Let's clarify this Kundalini energy. Let's see where you're at with that. So this can represent something that's coming in the future. Maybe it has to do with this sort of change of path, change of career, change of scenery. This is the Destiny card coming in with this message. It feels like you are, you're being shifted towards something pretty intensely. And maybe you can already feel that coming. Maybe it's already happening. But there's an energy behind it that is assisting you. So let's get some clarification on that. The Imperial Dragon. So this is the face card of this deck. This is one of my favorite cards. So we have the Imperial Dragon, all of this orange energy matching too. They're not all orange dragons. We have Solitaire. This is the Hermit card. We have the Aeon. Okay. Honestly, we went from this really light-hearted reading into these cards are really dense. The ones that I just pulled out, and it's not how they always read. So I'm gonna clear some space to put these out and see what they have to say. All right, so the Imperial Dragon usually comes out with like this icy cold energy. So this might be what's blocking you here. So again, in his hand here, you see this tiny little snowball. I want to say that, again, that represents the similar energy that we saw earlier, the more wise energy, the way this dragon is holding the illusion, we'll call it, the sleeper state, just observing life, observing this illusion from a very lovingly detached place, and just very curious about it. And the way that this card is coming through is it's sort of gripping onto it. It's got its claws sunk into it, holding it really close and looking in the other direction. So this is distractions, this is resistance, this is contracting down instead of staying open. So it's not allowing things to flow in and out. And I just hear this huge message that it has to do with money. This is feeling like it has to do, and I'm getting goosebumps, with your finances, with loans maybe, just something coming up around money. And I get that this can be a really sensitive topic for people, and there's just this clenching down around this specific part of our material world. And people love to call this life an illusion, but there are very real moments. And a lot of those very real moments have to do with our finances, and that can be a very scary part of life. So you have a little bit of a block, and it's in your sacral, coming from this, I don't want to call it lack, because it's not a lack. You're so abundant in your life, and that's very clear. You wouldn't have been able to open your heart the way you have without so much abundance. This is just holding on really tight to an idea, or to something, just something really uncomfortable to do with money. So this is the Hermit card. This is journeying in. This is a message that only you can go through this within yourself, to excavate, to release whatever this is, to let it go, to move it, to love it, to hold it gently and lovingly. And you have your little light here, you have your little guide into the space. This specific card, like, showing me going deep into kind of a dark space that maybe has been neglected for a little while, maybe has been ignored or repressed. Like I said, this card is coming out is like very sexy. And those things are connected, right? The finances, the money, that sexual flow, the kundalini flowing up the body, life force energy. So when you're repressed in anything that has to do with that energy, it blocks all of it. So the next card that's coming out, this is my loving imprint card. It never comes out as anything else. I want it to be something different because it's so gorgeous. This is the card of the imprint. For myself, I have roses tattooed on my hip. So whenever I see this card, it reminds me of the imprints that I have. I got the tattoo as a tribute to my grandmother who passed away on my mother's side. And her story is quite tragic, and I know that there has been a long, long, long lineage of trauma in my family from that side, and that has been a huge imprint and has had a huge impact on the way that I heal and the way that I love and the way that my life has been directed. And so we're seeing these generational collective wounds, you know, ping, 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 popping to the surface, especially with all of the stress in the air right now. And it's easy to get distracted by the story that's going on and forgetting to go inward and continue to move these things that are coming up. So something tells me that you have already had an insight about this imprint, about your relationship with money and the material world, about what it's going to take for you to move through this. And it's okay if you're having some resistance to, gosh, just flipping around. If you have some resistance to moving through it and moving through it alone, of course you're never actually alone, but this is standing on your own 2 feet. This is independence. This is sovereignty. This is being your own mountain. So I want to get one more card as advice on moving through this block. We'll say it's in your sacral for the sake of making things easy. That might not resonate with all of you, but it's definitely feeling like, you know, a little something in there, especially when it has to do with this sexy, beautiful kundalini energy coming up around finances. Amazing. Passion of the lion heart. So we have now this root chakra card coming out at the very end. The root chakra representing safety, stability. We just talked about stability. This is your anchor into the earth. This is your anchor into balance and femininity and masculinity and this beautiful card is encompassing allowing that deep silence to kind of rise up through you from that place. Just recently, I had an experience where I was meditating and then this consciousness dropped into me, or I dropped into it, hard to tell, and it was an old woman, and it felt just so, it felt like this, just so deeply connected, so grounded. It was incredible. And for a short period of time, she showed me my life through her perspective. in a very wise and loving and kind way. And it was the first time, I think, in my entire life where I felt like I could just receive life, that I didn't have to push through it, that I didn't have to be tired and drained and stressed all the time. This energy came through me, this rooted, connected in the flow energy, this old crow woman. She's seen things, she's been there, she's done it all. That's what it felt like. And she just showed me this is what life is really about, is taking it in and receiving it. And that's not stagnation, that's not laziness, that's not, you know, we have these ideas about what that means. And that doesn't mean you stop going out and doing things that are in alignment with you. It means that the doer is no longer doing these things. So anchor into that, anchor into that safe, wise, balanced master that already exists within you. That's what this is coming through as. And it will move that blockage, it will move that through, it will transmute it for you. You don't have to do anything. All you have to do is go into that journey within, and sit with that, sit with this energy, because it will do it. It does it for you. That's the beautiful thing about life. As much as we think we're doing, life is usually doing us. So thank you so much for joining me. And if this resonates with you, I am back to booking sessions. I also do hypnosis and meditation for stress and trauma release. So if you feel resonant with my messages and my energy, please feel free to reach out to me with any questions, comments, or if you would like to book a session. Mahalo nui loa.